Thank you for taking time out of your day to learn a little bit about social media. We're going to talk about 10 social media tips for your small business. And before we get started, though, I'd like to start with getting the introductions out of the way. So my partner here, Rishu, Mondolia, is the director of, there we go, is the director of, there we go, director of program development at the Digital Professional Institute. And he leads curriculum development for the school, and especially with the on online marketing and social media. So his previous history has been as a consultant, where he's really focused on driving innovative products, services, and marketing sort of approaches. So he's been worked on the front lines of all sorts of development for web and for mobile products. So he really has a deep understanding of this stuff, the technology, the systems, what makes the whole thing come together. So please welcome him. So I am an entrepreneur. I have a background in media and digital marketing. I've been in digital space for about 15 years. I currently have 2 companies. I have one company is a visitor marketing company called Concierge Preferred, and where I spend all my time is in our social media marketing company, which is our social media piece. What we do is we provide social media marketing services. There's a variety of tools to do it. No problem.
I've never been told I'm too quiet before, so that's interesting. So my background, as I started to say, I own 2 companies, Concierge Preferred, which is a visitor marketing company, and Social Media Piece, which is where I spend all my time, which is a turnkey social media marketing company.
No, you're fine.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
So, turnkey social media marketing company. We focus on small and mid-sized businesses, and we use a variety of tools for content. I leverage different social media channels. We do social media advertising promotions, basically whatever needed to drive results for our company. So that's what we do. And now that the formalities are done, let's get started with the presentation. So, tip number 1 is do it right or don't do it. And by that, I mean it needs to be a sustainable approach to social media marketing. They say that 50% of people want to learn about a business through their Facebook page in lieu of their website. So that being the case, you want to make sure that you put your best foot forward on social media. And so your business, every business has defined what's important and what people can expect from that business. So if it's customer service, if it's a distinct look and feel, whatever it might be, you need to make sure that that same approach that you take to your business is being taken on social media. And that effort put forward is on par with that put forward for your overall business and brand. And then again, that it's sustainable. So this point ties in well with this. Sure.
Can you actually hear me? Again, like Tim, I've never been told I've done loud. I just want to add one point to this. You'll hear time and again people making the point of everybody needs to do social media, every company needs to do social media. Philosophically, we don't disagree, but this is going to be an underlying statement that we'd like you to take away today. Please do social media, but at the same time, if you're going to do a terrible job, if you're going to have an empty page with 2 followers and 1 post over the last year, it's probably worth it. Don't do it. So we're not saying don't do it. It's weird. We say please do it, but if you really are going to do a bad job, then maybe. Then you're hurting yourself either way. Decide how much you want to hurt yourself.
So don't do it. There we go. So this goes up with the second one, second tip, which is monitor your social media channels in a timely manner. So it's the same thing. If you have a business and you leave an empty booth or table or whatever, and customers come in, they're not happy with that. So it's the same thing. If someone comes to your social media page and they ask you a question or they make a comment and no one's there to respond, that doesn't make them happy. Yes, exactly. But it's real important because it is an extension of your business. So for so long, people look at social media differently. Well, it's free and it's this and it's that. It's your business, so you should treat it exactly the same way you do from that standpoint. And one other thing that goes along with that is you need to have someone accountable for listening. So you can't just, hey, every once in a while, oh, I should check the social channel, see if there's any comments or questions. You need to have someone assigned to it, if it's yourself or someone in your company, so that every day, a few times a day, and yes, on weekends and evenings, someone's got to be paying attention to it. Because if you're focused on customer service at your business, you have to provide that same sort of customer service on social media. And unfortunately, you can't control the hours of social media. It's all over you. Sure.
I think it's important to not overdo it. Some businesses are like, hey, we find it.
So I don't know if everyone heard that, but the point was that some businesses overdo it and too many posts and so forth, which I couldn't agree more with. Now it's interesting because you run into the trend, which we're going to talk more about, is social media companies are restricting organic reach. So while a year ago you might have put out a post that might have reached 15 to 20% of people that can Facebook like your page, today it might be 5 or 6%. So you have people start picking up some frequency to try and extend their reach through frequency, but if you're getting them, it's annoying. So it really is sort of a you got to walk the line and be careful, and also watch your analytics to see how your fans are responding. Because if they're opting out, then you know you're going too far. So hit the boost button. This was actually, thanks for the segment. This one has a lot to do with the fact that Facebook has restricted what is seen organically. Twitter has already come out and said next year they're going to start controlling their feed by algorithm, like Facebook does too, instead of chronologically. We see the other channels following suit. Why? Because they'll make a lot more money this year. In fact, since Facebook changed the way that they distribute content through the feed, and they've restricted it, their stock price has gone up with their advertising sales. So, you tell me. So, the opportunity here for you is if you have content, everybody has more, or some content that's more important than others. Whatever that content might be for your business, you should boost if you're using Facebook. Because again, if you have 1,000 likes on Facebook, you're lucky to hit 50 of those people who are just posting an organic post out there. So if that happens to be something that's tied to the most important promotion of the year for your business, you can count on 50 or 60 people seeing it. You should boost. And boosting means basically put some money behind it, advertise the content so that you extend the reach to more fans, and you can go beyond that to prospective clients as well. Sir?
Can you
Sure. Sure. If you just open up your Facebook, put a post on there, and hit post, and it goes out there, that's organic. That means it's just going to be, reach you get is driven by shares, likes, comments, and the reach that provides. And you get paid, which is, this boosted method is a paid method. So because the philosophy here is you're not happy with the reach of organic because of what's happening with the social channel restricting the reach. So you put a little money behind it to extend that reach, and that's basically what we're talking about. Does that make sense?
how you explain can you
Sure. There's a way in Facebook and actually other social channels as well to advertise if you have a post that say you're talking about a sale you're having on your business, promotion, and you want to make sure that it's the most reach you can, you might put in $20 or $50 behind it to say, I want to extend that reach out to it. So what it is advertising. They have us trained in calling it differently, but it's advertising.
They also have advertising.
Yes, they do have advertising too, which is why so that's an important detail. So pay close attention to your engagement. And by that, engagement meaning likes, comments, shares, and Facebook is a good example. And then the similar, vernacular for the other social channels. But what's important here is that you're looking at any analytics you can get from your social channels and looking to see, what are my clients like? What are they responding to? Where am I getting a lot of interaction with them, a lot of engagement? You should do that every time you go to make a post. Look back and see what's worked. Make yourself a cheat sheet. They seem to like pictures, which most people do, or they seem to like questions or trivia, or they really love this aspect of my business because it's historical and they love this picture. Whatever it might be, just every time you go into analytics, which I would recommend you do once a month, go in there, take a few of those tidbits and just make yourself a cheat sheet. So now next time you go and write your content, whoever does it for you, writes your content, look at those notes, use that. Because the more you keep doing it, the better you'll get, the better and stronger your voice will get, the more engagement, the more reach you'll get. Inside, yeah, if it's Facebook, yeah. Does that make sense? So watch the engagement, see what works, and do more of that. That's the short version. So advertise to custom audiences. How many people are aware of advertising? Let's use Facebook for an example. Advertising to custom audiences on Facebook. Show of hands. Okay. So this is a pretty dynamic way to advertise and to extend a limited budget. So you can literally, you can do this two ways. You can take your email database, if it's large enough, upload it into Facebook, and then you can target just those people who are in your email database that are on Facebook with that. So the beauty of that is you only pay for that when they click on it. So it's a great way to stay in front of mind, and depending on the type of business you have, some businesses need reminders for prospects more than others. It just depends on the type of business that you have. Another great way to do it is you can put a pixel on your website, which sounds technical, it's very easy. Anyone who has your website can do this. It's a little piece of code you have to put on your website. And on Facebook, and what it'll do is, when someone comes to your website to shop, to consider your services, whatever it might be, it tells Facebook, hey, I have somebody here who you also have. So let's build a database within Facebook of people who are looking at your website. So what's great about that is it's ongoing. Once you set the pixel, that database just keeps building, and then you can target them with ads. So think about that. Someone goes to your website, they check it out, and then they go to their website page, or they go to their Facebook page later that day or the next day, and they see an ad from you. Oh wow, that must be really a big company. They must be really, Or they might be saying, I'm going to look at other companies, and I keep getting reminders from these guys. I got to go back and look at them again. So it's a great way for you to keep top of mind with them and reconsider your business if they haven't purchased from you already. So
Is that like retargeting?
exactly. So that's another nice way to do it. And there's one other thing that went with that, which is if you decided to make that custom audience by either two ways I just said, email database, or if you drop a pixel on your website, you could then make what they call a lookalike database. So they'll take, they'll look at the demographic, psychographic, geographic respects of your database, and they'll take the top 1% and create a lookalike database. So then you can target them too. So theoretically, obviously, whatever the commonalities are in your database, if you target people like that, since birds of a feather flock together, you should have a good chance to get some other prospective business. So that's another sort of opportunity for businesses. So I'm going to hand over the controls here with Rishu in a second, but one thing I will say, if anybody wants to learn more about this, our company, Social Media Beast, just published a white paper, actually just started today, called Social Media for Small Business. So we're at socialmediabeast.com. You're welcome to get in there, and it's 25-page, I think. So it's much more in depth with resources and stuff like that. It's a Social Media Beast, BEAST.com. Rishu?
Let's start with this taking. We talked a little about this one. My first tip 6 for the group is to really start as early as possible to find out where your audience is on the and I'll break this up into a couple of different steps. The first step is start by defining your audience. Who are you trying to target? Often we make the mistake that I'll ask this question to when I was consulting a client of mine, who's your audience? Oh, it's somebody who buys from me. That's unfortunately not the right answer. Every business is different, especially if you go all the way from a B2B to a business to business to a business to consumer service. Are they young? Are they old? What do they do? Where do they live? Is your audience male? Are they female? That's just demographic information. After that, there's more. How do they behave? What networks do they prefer? Because here's the fun part. Everybody knows Facebook, everybody knows Twitter, everybody now knows Instagram, Pinterest. These are still the major ones. And there's a good possibility your audience is there, but they may not be there. Easiest answer, if it's a B2B audience, your audience is professionals, don't even bother with a Facebook page. They're on LinkedIn. And I haven't even talked about niche audience. There's about, 500 networks right now which are actually used by people. Social media is big. And once and this is obviously, you build this up, you keep learning more and more about social media, but at some point, find out where they are. And once you figure that out, learn their culture, see how they're talking, what they're talking about. Because obviously, even though you're using social media as a marketing channel, you don't want to be perceived as a marketer. You want to be one of them, talk to them, listen. Quick network, if you haven't looked into it right now, for a younger, actually, for a very broad audience, is Reddit. Reddit is a major network, but one of its beauties is subreddits. They have really small networks, each focused around the topic. I'll just give you one quick example. It's a small company in Chicago, they're a cigar shop. I was talking to somebody who works with the company. They told us that the company owners found out that Reddit had a subreddit for people who like cigars. That's not me. So that's not me, so I don't know what the technical term is. They went to that community and started acting there versus Twitter and Facebook. Immensely successful. They had hundreds of people talk to them and actually saw an impact from that in their following after came to the store and essentially allowed them to market and do it. This is just one example, but the point I'm trying to make is don't use a very broad approach. Don't try to follow everybody else. Find out where your people are, understand them, listen to them, and then you'll do a much better job talking. And by the way, there are a lot of tools that can help you with that. If you're curious, please drop by. Stick around after this and we can talk about them, because the tools can be specific based on your industry. This is an old message, and it is as true for social media as everything else in life. You have to give something to get something back. And in this case, what you're probably looking for in return is, one, something like a like, a follow, something where they start listening to you. But even after that, if all they do is like you, you're wasting your time, you're wasting their time. As you mentioned earlier, out of 1,000 people, about 5 of them will actually get your posts after that. So that's not enough. You need them to engage more after that.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't bother them. So that means that you need to do something to them, give something that is of value to them, because you're asking for their attention. People often make the mistake of thinking that has to be monetary. That's not true. It's nice if you have a local business, if you can actually give offers, give people a reason to drop by your page because you're running some fun offers that are only on your pages. Great. But it can be as simple as humor. People started using social media just because it's great communication. Just because you're a company doesn't mean you have to be boring. You can still let your personality shine. In fact, that's my tip number 7.5. Let your personality shine. Don't be corporate. It's a big mistake in the world of social media. And big companies are the worst for that, because as you can imagine, too much red tape there. But let your customers, your potential customers, see who you are and give something back. So that could be just humor. It could be valuable tips. So for Tim, for example, his white paper, that's actually very valuable. So I'm sure he's sharing that with everybody he can. Gives people a reason to come to his networks and get tips from him on a regular basis. That is valuable. Versus Tim just creating a page, leaving it blank, and hoping that people will like him and come there. That's not valuable. So but that means you're going to have to put in work, by the way. This one, I should have started with this one. We still don't figure out where the best part is the world is still trying to figure this out to some extent of what to do with social media. The buzzword is engagement. I sat down with one of my colleagues and we started listing all the different things we've done with social media. We found out there were about 16 of them. Engagement was only one. Everybody talks about what to do with social media. It's about engagement. Not really true. That's a big piece of it, but engagement for what? Do you want to generate new leads? Do you want to get repeat customers? So people who bought from you, now you get them to follow you on Facebook or Twitter. Well, really what you want to do is get them back into your store. These are goals you can define because everything that you talk to them about, you can give them reminders for that. So if somebody on your Twitter, you know that your Twitter following are people who already bought from you, well, maybe you give them a reason to come back to your store if your goal was to get them back. If your goal is to reach new customers, you want to give them a message that they will share with their friends, to Tim's point, and now posting. So it can go from everywhere from just showing what your brand is about, your brand identity, to making them aware of new products, getting new leads, not bothering with new leads. I just want to have my existing customers get back to me. You can use it for market research. People are already there, they're talking about you, you can ask them questions too. I don't remember the rest of the 10 on my list, but engagement, I haven't even brought it up because that's a big key one. It's an underlying formula that applies to all of these, but figure out what you want to do with social media before you spend the time and effort making it. Okay, create a calendar. So, you find out where your audience is. You find out what you can do to bring them value. You figure out what you're hoping to get out of social media, and there can be more than one of them. Even before you get started, create a calendar. What does the next 30-day look like from you if you're going to be posting content that drives them? Are you going to have a daily tip? All right, then now that's on your calendar. Every day I'm going to have to go and create and post a tip. Are you, besides the daily tip, because you should be a little bit active, you're also going to have a larger thought piece, a blog post you're going to post every week. Great. Put that on your calendar. Make at least a 30-day calendar. And step 2, create the content for at least 2 weeks before you even get started. Social media is difficult. It takes time. It's a marketing activity, and the results can be amazing. But don't think that you can just spend a couple minutes here and there and expect to get any results on it. You spend more time, the results will be better. Like anything else in marketing and business, discipline helps. Build a calendar. I'm not saying you can't change the calendar. You have the discipline of building it beforehand, before you get started, and you'll keep modifying it as you learn more. Identify when you're going to be posting original content, your blogs, your tweets, your tip of the day, your hashtags. Figure out what your series are, put them on the calendar, create them before you get started because you'll realize very quickly what is easy to do, what is difficult to do. Writing the first blog post, sometimes easy. Second one becomes more difficult. Third one, more difficult. Fourth one, suddenly easy because now you learn how to do it. So you have to do enough of it that you figure out how much time this takes and are you willing to do it, because if you can't do it right, don't do it. My last one, again, don't make this mistake. Don't make it the intern's job. And hopefully the last 9 have underlined why social media is important for you. It is your voice. It is another channel. People think you are talking. And you probably read every now and then some really funny jokes when companies make the mistakes of giving it to the intern and they
So I have a question related to this. How many people in their business have done advertising so far? Okay. Of those people, how many people have had their intern do their advertising so far? That's the point.
I'm not saying don't get involved in, by the way. Use them as research. They know the tools. They can help you there. But they should not be responsible. At best, they follow your guidance. When I've used interns, they actually get the tweets written out. That these are the 5 tweets that are going to get posted. You don't only take activity after you've been approved, and then as they get trained, you can give them over. But don't make the mistake of just saying, hey, go have fun with my Twitter account. You're welcome to reply to everybody without any guidelines. It's a big mistake.
This is an issue that I'm having. I manage the Instagram and Twitter account, and well, we are family owned business, so we still can manage Facebook. So we're always
There's more than one question. It's not even so much about the fact that there are two people involved. It really is, how do you spread your content? Now here's one thing you can probably figure out right now. Are the same people following you on every network, or is it a different audience? I've answered your question. Even if you're having the same post, who cares? And the good thing, other good and bad thing about social media is it's a lot more digestible, it is more disposable, which means some repetition is okay. Not too much, you want to be careful, you don't want to be spammy, but if somebody saw one post here and saw it elsewhere too, they get it, you're trying to get it. But I would strongly recommend with multiple people, make sure you're talking regularly, every day. If you're in the same place, just stop. You guys should have your breakfast together. Great for siblings, and you can also start by just open up your feeds, see what you got. Before you know it, you'll start recognizing your patterns, document them so you have your guidelines. Here are our guidelines for our company. These are the words we use. These are the words we don't use. This is how we respond when somebody's happy. This is how we respond when somebody's really not unhappy with us. That's your guidelines. So next time you have to bring a third person in, that's what this story.
If you're an individual entrepreneur and you started a personal site on Facebook and you have a number of people on it, is there an advantage of then having a business page as well? And what about duplication of posts?
I'll let Tim also jump in on this, because this is a question that I will always say depends. At least that's how it's been for me. Especially when you're an entrepreneur, if you are the face for a lot of your customers, and if it is a service-oriented business, then you're probably okay right now. That's how people are connecting with you. Though, by the way, you will need to probably separate your personal Facebook communication and your professional one. If you're using Facebook for personal stuff, then the answer is easy. Okay, if you're not, then you're probably okay, but I would recommend start branding it for your company, because that is the brand you want to, as you grow your business, that's the one you want to have. So it may be a good idea, even at this point, to create your company's page. Let people know that, hey, I am launching my company's page. Why don't you follow me there? And slowly let them get there. Because really, that is your thing. And you probably know there are people who will know you as an individual, and then hopefully more and more as your business grows, they think of the business first.
The other thing on that is, so there's some rules with Facebook, and if you get too businessy on a personal page, they don't like that. So you can walk a little bit of the line there. You can also, there's an option you can, at some point, I'm pretty sure, I think you can merge two business pages. I'm not sure if you can merge personal and business. I believe you can. That's another option if it gets to be too, because I know sometimes it's just too much. You want to be pure personal shop, you want to spend all your time on Facebook, right? So there's a couple options there.
Is there an advantage to a business page, like the analytics that you mentioned? Is that only available on business pages?
And insights are definitely a better situation for business.
The analytics, yeah, they're only available for pages, actually.
Yeah.
Insights is only available for business Facebook accounts, but yeah.
So that's statistics, what content's working well for you.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Good point. So yeah, definitely there are a lot. If you're a business, they give you a lot of businesses to use. If you're using social media for more spreading your expertise and connecting with people, then you're first going to come back to it.
This boosting post stuff we were talking about earlier, you wouldn't be able to do that. But you can do that a little bit on your personal page. You can boost the post.
Maybe you can say that, that's one.
Yeah, they're just starting.
Personal post.
Yeah, I just saw something on that. Yeah.
They'll probably go back to them once they figure out it makes money.
Yep. You can advertise your page, promote it.
Is there an ideal time to say post something on LinkedIn versus an ideal time on Twitter? Have you noticed some patterns in that?
The patterns actually, you should actually try, because the patterns do differ a lot by significantly. Just like any other thing. Yes, in the email we always said Tuesday morning's the perfect one. That's true, but every time I say that, I find the company gets a different answer. Social media being a little personal, you'll probably find your patterns of vary.
And with this current thing that we were talking about earlier with restriction of organic reach, so there's some people are talking about now, like trying to find the times when it's not busy, and you post then because then it's not competitive. And that's, let's face it, that's one of the biggest reasons why they're restricting reach, which is there's just so many people on there and so much content that you can't possibly see it all. So someone's got to make a decision for what you're going to see, unless you made that Facebook a full-time job. So.
Do experiment, by the way, that's the right there. The beauty of social media and digital is you have to do a print ad, you have to approve of the copy. If got printed, there's 10,000 of them, oops, doesn't matter, you can't change it, but you can't change your mind also. Digital social media will allow you to perform experiments. So you'll be posting at different times, see which ones are actually getting engagement. That's your hypothesis. Try a different experiment, works better, and before you know it, you find out exactly what's happening.
Hi. Can you please just explain again what organic reach is?
Sure.
Organic reach.
Basically, do you have a Facebook page?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. So if you get on the Facebook page right now, if you got on your phone and just put Rishu is the best social media speaker ever.
I approve that.
If you did that, then it'll reach a certain amount of people. And a certain amount of people will say, I like it, I'll comment on it, I'll share with other people because they're big fans of Rishu as well, of course. So that's organic reach. Okay, so just what naturally reaches people based upon how people engage with your content. Versus the paid reach, which is the boosted posts, the ads. We've talked about a few different ads that we've talked about, different types of ads that we've talked about throughout this, but that's the simplest way to do it.
Thank you.
So the question is, how often should you post on a business page? It's really up to the business. So there's no hard and fast rule. You want to have a presence, and if an organic post in Facebook now is reaching 5 or 6%, and you have 1,000 fans, you're reaching 50 or 60 people. Depending on what kind of business you're in, if you're selling $10 million homes, maybe one of those people buys one and you're good. So it depends on what you're trying to do, accomplish. But my thing would be this: in the day that we are in, social media-wise, and with the restricted organic reach, it would be really hard for a small business to go too far with not a post. It would be very hard because many people just assume I write a post, I get it up, everybody sees it. So if I have 10,000 fans, they're all going to see that post. No, 5% of them will see that post. So if you think about that, and then think about how many posts you do over a week's time, it's hard. It's hard to reach them all. So it would be really hard to be annoying unless you're posting 3 times a day, you're boosting them all, and your content is not interesting. Because if you're not bringing any value in your content, then all of a sudden one post is too many, right? So, but Rishu mentioned it earlier. Look at your insights, see how people respond. One thing you can look at is when people stop following you on Facebook, you can see there's a number, and you can see every week how many people stop following every day. And if you see that number spiking, you're doing something wrong. So it's really the best way to look at it. Meaning if your baseline of people unliking your page is growing, then something that you're doing is not good.
Just, if it helps, again, use this number with a grain of salt because it's different from company by company, but the rule of thumb for the longest time was for any account, when you first get started and trying to get people to start noticing you, the recommendation always was to try to do something, be active 2 to 3 times a day. Doesn't mean it all has to be original content. If I use Twitter as an example, retweeting is okay. If you are commenting back on somebody, then that's okay. Obviously, you don't want everything you do to always just be a reactionary one. But to use an example, like once a week probably is not going to get you a lot of mileage. It may work, but generally, our goal is to build a following over time.
One other perspective that some businesses will have, which will be, look, I'm not building my business through social. I don't have the resources to do that, so I need its credibility. If in today's world, like I said earlier, 50% of people want to learn about your business through your Facebook page and look at your website. It has to be good, at least. It has to have something on there and have credibility. So from that standpoint, some businesses say, well, that's what I want. I want baseline content. If you post 5 posts a week or whatever it might be. And that's enough. So if anyone comes and kicks the tires in my business through my Facebook page, and look at it, it's on par with my business and its quality. But that kind of quantity, unless you're boosting posts, is probably not going to build your business either. And so it just depends on what you're trying to do.
As you mentioned at the start, there's hundreds of different types of social media. I just started my own home business, and so I'm trying to stake my claim on all of them to get the name, to get people's foot, I guess. But is it frowned upon to point, I guess, you say the Twitter page and you point to people on my Facebook page to get more information, or my website to get more information?
Be very transparent about it, and then you might be okay. So that's the first thing I would say. If you have to do it, just be very transparent about it. Which is,
Just
you can make a joke about it like that. There's no way I can have 400 pages because apparently you guys are all every network, but you're gonna be active on Facebook. Just say it out, and that might happen. So that's my first tip. If you're blocking a lot of pages and you can't actually be active on them,
You have to be careful with that because obviously people come to the page and they look at it and they say, well, who's this guy? Where's this guy? Where's this business at? If they can't do this. So my personal preference on that one would be don't do it. You know, I know that the pressure is I'm not going to get the exact name I want on Facebook or whatever it might be. If I don't do that now, put the stake in the ground, you can always be creative and come up with other ways to do it.
I would only recommend blocking the 2 main, 2 or 3, if any.
People aren't going to be really searching that way anyway. You'll get in, you'll search, and you'll be fine. If you create the page right, no matter whatever it might be, whatever channel it might be, you'll go.
Do you think it would be viewed as spammy? Like if you're in a service type business and if you write a message on individual Facebook pages about like what you're offering, if like no one else offers it and you're in a niche business, like not if you continually do it, but if you just do it one time, because I think it like in my business, I think that marketing in general is a little bit too aggressive. Like you really have to build trust, and it's like more of a community of people. And I was thinking that maybe that would be a more authentic way to reach people just by writing on the Facebook pages.
I'll give you the two answers. It can become spammy. It can, absolutely. The person receiving it, and in full disclosure, I have been close to a campaign. I wasn't leading the campaign, but I was part of a team associated with it, that's exactly what did it. And there were people who told us that, guys, what are you doing? This is spammy. But it worked. we were getting a lot of nice leads from that. So what we realized is that there was a right way of doing it, and we had to be very, very careful. You're taking a big risk. It can work. I hate to say it, like unfortunately a lot of marketing, but don't spam it because you can obviously hurt your own brand. So make sure when you post it, it doesn't look like it's a canned message also. That's the other thing I would recommend if you are posting to somebody's personal page, profile, etc. Don't make it look very canned. The more you can personalize it, replying to their post is another very good way. There's a good possibility the person you want to talk to has talked about something close to your subject. Respond to that, add value, now they know of you, and then you can even go in full disclosure, I do offer this service.
So responding to a post on the page.
That makes it, you want to get their attention, that will reduce the possibility of them assuming that you're being aggressive and less spammy, but yes, responding to something they said, the closer it is to your message, the cleaner you are from
Thank you.
Just be careful with that one. That's okay. Do it personally. I'm not a big fan when companies just go and thank everybody in one large post. We do it because that's the weird part. There's so many things that I would never do personally, but apparently nobody minds it. But thanking them personally, again, looks nice.
Yeah, for a simple way. But you know what spam is that drives leads? It's ingenious marketing.
I guess going back to the point before last, to what degree is it okay? Let's say I generate a year's worth of content because I'm in a bicycle startup and it's a novel bicycle product and I want the tips on bicycle things. Is it okay to automate all that and have it pushed to all those sites?
I'll just keep an eye on it.
And I guess the other thing, if I'm generating all that content, what's the easiest way to kind of get that link back to my site, get other people to be kind of pushing my link? So I can generate the content very easily. I've had real trouble generating an audience.
If the content you make is interesting and people want to share it and you happen to have your link in there, that's a good way to do it. So they're sharing stuff because they think it's interesting and you're suddenly also having links in there to the products that you have and how they relate to that we've had interesting content to follow.
Is it just about creating content, or is it an ask, or is it identifying the correct person to ask? Is it just asking a lot?
It's all those things, really. It's all those things. I mean, depending on the product and the timing, it's really testing. Because I've heard all those things work.
Yeah, if you want, we'll happily chat after this. There's a lot more variables there. You can do it right, but I just want to make sure that we understand your business.
Can I make this the last one? I know you guys are doing the workshop here, but do you do on-site trainings where you can kind of walk people through the stages of this type of marketing?
Yes. Sir?
Yes, one of my methods on Facebook is I have a personal page and I have a business page. They're linked. I will post on the business page and I would I would just click onto my regular page, my personal page, and I would share that to, I belong to about 20 groups. Now, the thing is, I would get likes from those group members, but they're not, members of my business page, and I want to know, is that spam? And I have no way of converting them to likes, to my business page. And what would you do with that?
So the issue is you have a personal and a business page.
Yes.
And you're in groups.
Yes.
And you're out there and you're talking to people. They're not going back and liking your page, is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I'm sharing. Basically, I post on my business page.
Yeah.
And then I would like it on my personal page so all of my friends could see it, and I would share it to the personal groups I belong to, just to generate more. But it's saying it's driving up my analytics, saying that 100-something, 200-something people have seen it, but how do I go back and get that person from that group that's not a part of my business page to like my page? How can I send them an invite?
I have a solution.
Oh, let's hear it.
All right, if you have a personal and a business page, you can actually make yourself the administrator of the business.
I am.
Then you should be able to identify people that like you on your personal page, that are friends with you on your personal page, and invite them to your business page.
Well, they actually like me in the group pages, but they're not my friends in the group pages. They liked my posts, but I have no way of.
If they are part of your network on Facebook, you can invite them.
But they're not part of my network. They're just a part of a group I'm in.
Oh, they're not in your...
Right. I share it to a group with just say thousands of members.
Yeah. I suggest that you guys can connect. Last question.
I have a product that solves the wire mess underneath your desk. And it's just about to come out.
Wait, how did you see my desk?
Everyone hears this. And if I'm going to go to social media, as you say, it's going to do it right. Which social media site, if I only want to go to one because I don't have the time to be able to manage 5 different social medias with this type of product, at least in the beginning, which social media site do you suggest I start?
Sorry, we were just consulting with
Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and more.
Yeah, even though it's a business product, it will be used by individuals, so Facebook will allow you to connect with them better.
And there's obviously a ton of people who have products.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, I'll take that before that, just because a few people are heading out. Tim and I, we're hanging around, so catch us. We both have booths, by the way. So please drop by if you want to talk more about this stuff.
Yes, if anyone wants business cards.
We have those too, so I want to make sure if you have more questions, we get to it. But please go for it. Because she has to prioritize big one. Okay. She will do both the A and she has.
All right. Okay. So that is my phone.
Yeah, I'm going to be leaving shortly.
Oh, okay. I'm just trying to learn about computer.